Okay, these are the notes for 2.4. 2.4 and 2.5 are actually applications. This is, our first dive into word problems. I promise that it is not going to be as bad as you think it is. We are going to step through them together. So the first thing I would say about word problems is the real key in word problems in math, above anything else, above even the steps here on the screen, reading carefully, assigning labels, all of this. The real honest to goodness key to solving word problems and really anything else in life and in math is being willing to try it. Like, you have to take the first step and go, okay, wait, I'm going to try this. If I get it wrong or I get confused, I'll ask for help, but I have to start. The key is really starting. You cannot get it finished if you never start it. So if you just stare at it, it's not going to help you. You have to dive in and actually try something. It's okay if it doesn't work. Nobody's going to lop off your fingers, but you do have to make an attempt. So these are the essential steps here. We always read the problem carefully. If there is something unknown in the problem, assign a label. That's just simply like, make it X. Write a verbal model. So turn it into an equation. Sometimes, actually, equation is step 4. Sometimes a verbal model is like writing the words, this quantity plus that quantity is this thing, and sort of simplifying the written words that are there. We won't always do this in these problems, but there are other cases where it will help us. Then write the equation and solve it, interpret the results, and write the final answer in words. Again, this is more the case in the next section than this one, but like, you have to get to the end and look at the number and think like, oh, okay, how do I make sense of that? What quantity is it? What does it mean? That's your job. Okay, so these first sets are just translating English into algebra and then solving them. So this one says the sum of a number and -11 is -15. Find the number. So we're going to start with the equation. It says the sum of a number and -11. So I'm going to write this, a number is an unknown quantity. So X and -11. So X plus -11 is -15. Well, I can do that. Okay. So now let's see. Now I just have to solve. I wrote the equation out. So I'm going to add 15 to both sides. Oh, that doesn't look like a 15. Pardon me. My fingers are a little sticky this morning on the screen. So, oh gosh, somehow I'm going to add -11 and I wrote 15. Good heavens. So I'm going to add 11 to both sides. When I do that, I get X equals -4. So -4 plus -11 is -15. That's true. You try the second one. Take a moment. The sum of a number and -7 is 12. So a number should be X. Let's see. Then I have a -7 and a sum is 12. So the sum of a number X plus -7 equals 12. And then I'm going to solve the same way I just did. I'm going to add 7 to both sides. I'm going to get X is 19. And does it make sense? Well, 19 plus -7 is 12. Fair enough. All right. These ones are a little more complicated. There's extra steps in here. It says 40 less than 5 times a number is 52 less than the number. Oh, goodness. So I'm going to actually draw a line through is, okay? The one thing I will tell you is that in this chapter, we're only ever using one letter. So it says a number and the number here, those are the same number. So X is going to be the variable you use, or Y, or whatever you choose, but you pick one, you don't get two. So I'm going to draw a line and I'm going to start on the first half. It says 40 less than 5 times a number. Well, I know I have a number that's X. And I know 5 times that number is 5X. But 40 less than that number means I have to take 40 away. So I'm going to do 5x minus 40. I'm taking 40 away from 5x. Then I have is, that's equal sign. 52 less than the number. Well, I know the number is x. And 52 less than that means I'm taking 52 away. So x minus 52. Well, that was not the end of the world. So now I'm just going to solve. I'm going to add 40 of both sides. Numbers on one side, variables on the other. I get 5x equals x minus 12. Subtract the x. I get 4x equals negative 12. Divide by 4. X is negative 3. And then you can go back and put that negative 3 in for x in your original equation and see if it works. It should. Okay, go check and make sure it sets right. All right, let's try the bottom one. Yeah, actually, you try the bottom one. Pause, try the bottom one. Okay, you definitely paused, right? I believe you. I'm going to put a line through is because I see a lot of words here. 13 more than twice a number. 13 more than twice a number is 5 more than the number. Okay, so I'm going to work in reverse again a little bit. I know I have a number as x. Twice a number is 2x. And 13 more than that is just adding 13. So it doesn't matter with addition, it can go in any order, right? So I'm going to write, if you wanted to write it as 13 plus 2x, that's fine. I'm going to sort of mirror what we did earlier. I can write it as 13 plus 2x. And then where my line is the equal sign. 5 more than the number. Well, I know the number is x. So 5 more than that number is x plus 5, 5 plus x. So now I'm just going to combine stuff. I'm going to move the 13 to the other side. So I get 2x equals negative 8, right? Yep. Plus x, and I'm going to subtract x from both sides. So I'm going to get x equals negative 8. And then you can check, go replace negative 8 in where you see x and see if it works. All right, you try these two. They're the same idea, right? Well, actually, they're slightly different. Let's try the first one. Twice the sum of a number and 6 is 2 more than 3 times the number. Find the number. So I'm going to draw another line. It is. It's the first half that's a little different. It says twice the sum of a number and 6. In the last one, it said 40 less than 5 times the number. So in this case, that was 5 times x in the first one. In this one, it says twice the sum. So it's twice that group of a number and 6. So in this case, when it says twice like an operation or 3 times an operation or whatever, you need to put that operation in parentheses. So it's the sum of a number, x is our number, and 6. It's twice that. Is my equal sign. 2 more than 3 times the number. Now remember, that one sounds a little different. 3 times the number is 3x. 2 more than that is just 3x plus 2, right? So now I can solve, but I do have to think through steps. I have to distribute first. So 2x plus 12 equals 3x plus 2. I'm going to subtract the 2's from both sides. I'm going to get 2x plus equals 3x. Oops, no, I forgot the 10. 2x plus 10 equals 3x minus 2x. And so I'm going to get 10 equals x. That's my answer. And again, you can go check that. You try the second one. Okay, make sense of it. Give it a second. Try it, see what happens. 3 times the sum of a number and 8 is 4 more than the number. So I'm going to draw a line. It is 3 times the sum of a number and 8. 3 times the sum, says parentheses to me. My number is x, the sum of a number and 8 is x plus 8. And then 3 times that sum is 3 times it is 4 more than the number. Well, that's simple enough. 4 plus x. Okay? You can go through and solve this. You know the steps. You know how to do it. If you get stuck, I will tell you the answer is x equals -10. If you get stuck, come on into the discussion. Let's talk about it. All right. Next, this is a different kind of case. This is the idea of consecutive integers. So there is a thought in here that we have to think about first. So 2 consecutive integers. Integers are just numbers we count on the number line, positive and negative, including 0. Consecutive means in a row. So 2 consecutive integers would be like 1, 2, or 2, 3, or -5, -4. Okay? Sometimes they're either odd or even, but they're still consecutive. But think about what that would look like on the number line. So it would be like 2 consecutive odd numbers would be 1, 3, or 3, 5, or -3, -1, right? The difference between 2 consecutive integers, so if we did 1 and 2, the difference between them is just 1, right? The difference between consecutive odd integers is 2, okay? So I need to find 2 numbers in this problem. It says I need to find the sum of 2 consecutive odd integers. And what I need to think about is how I'm going to label those numbers, because I don't know what they are. It says the sum of 2 consecutive odd integers is -188. Find the integers. Well, I know I need to label 2 numbers. So, and as I said before, we're only ever using 1 variable. So you don't get to use 2 of them here. So don't do that. So if x is the first number, it's the first integer, how do I get the next one? Well, let's say, for example, if x turns out to be 3, the next consecutive odd number would be 5. How do I get from 3 to 5? The way I get from 3 to 5 is I add 2. So actually, the second odd integer, first, I'm going to put odd there. X plus 2 is going to be the second odd integer. Okay? So now I can think about what the problem actually says. The sum of 2 consecutive odd integers is -188. Well, I'm just going to add them. So the first odd integer is x. The second is x plus 2. So I'm going to do x plus 2 is -188. It's not as bad as you think it was, right? And now I just have to solve. Well, I have 2x plus 2 equals 188 minus 2. I get 2x equals -190. Divide by 2. I get x equals -95. Okay, well, now we need to go back to the original thought. If the first odd integer is -95, then the second one is -95 plus 2. -95 plus 2 is -93. And now I can think to myself, well, if I add those 2 together, do I get -188? Yep, I do. All right, you try the next one. The only thing that's different here is it says even, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is the distance between the 2 numbers. So we're going to set it up the same way. X is the first even integer. The distance between two even integers, think like 4 and 6, right? The distance between them is still 2, so x plus 2 is the second even integer. So then x plus 2 equals 66. All right, we're doing the same thing. We get 2x plus 2 equals 66 minus 2. I get 2x equals 64 divided by 2. X is 32. If x is 32, the next consecutive integer, the even one, is going to be 34. That's it. All right, let's try the next kind of problem. These ones need space, so I'm going to give myself a blank page here. It says 10 times the smallest of 3 consecutive integers is 22 more than 3 times the sum of the integers. Find the integers. Dear heavens, right? This is where things get crazy. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take this off this slide. I'm gonna put it on the next one, give us some space. There we go. These are always laid out wrong and I just need to change them. All right, so let's think about what this really says. First, we have to do 3 consecutive integers. Now, if we think of 3 consecutive numbers, we're thinking about like 1, 2, 3, or 7, 8, 9, right? What's the distance between them? It's just 1, right? So the difference here is +1. So 3 consecutive integers, x is going to be the first, x plus 1 is the second, x plus 2 is the third. All right, well, we know how to write the numbers now. So 10 times the smallest of 3 consecutive integers. Well, let's look at our 3 choices. Which one is the smallest? It's the first one, right? Just plain x. So I'm going to write 10 times x is, that's my equal sign, 22 more than 3 times the sum of the integer. That's that thing again, 3 times the sum. So that tells me I need some parentheses, right? I'm going to put them over here. 3 times the sum of the integers. So the sum of all of these guys over here. So x plus 1 plus x plus 2. I like how I gave myself enough room there, didn't you? 3 times the sum of the integers. It's 3 times that. And 22 more than that. This is something you might have to try a couple times and watch a couple times, and that's okay. But now from here, we can just do the math part. So on the left, I have nothing to simplify. I just have 10x. On the right, I got a bunch of work to do. 22 plus 3 times, I'm going to simplify what's in the parentheses. Let's see, x plus x plus x. I have 3 x's plus 3. Now I can distribute. So I have 10x equals 22 plus 9x plus 9. Okay, 10x equals, what's 22 plus 9? 31 plus 9x. And I'm going to subtract the 9x. Didn't mean to make that look like a y. So I get x equals 31. Well, that's great. If x is 31, x plus 1 has got to be 32. X plus 2 has got to be 33. And then if you want, you can go put x back into the equation here and see if it works. Right? Try it. All right, let's go to the next one. You try this one. Pause the video a moment, see what happens. Okay, 5 times the smallest of 3 consecutive integers is 17 less than twice the sum of the integers? Find the integers. Well, the first thing we need to do is name them. So x is the first one. 3 consecutive, doesn't say even or odd, so I don't need to worry about twos. They're just in a row. X plus 1 is the second, x plus 2 is the third. All right, 5 times the smallest one would just be 5x equals 17 less than twice the sum, so I need parentheses, of the integers. So x plus 1 plus, plus x plus 2. 1, 2, 3 integers, right? Twice the sum, 17 less. So I have to take 17 away from the end. Okay, remember that less than goes after. All right, so you have your equation. You know what to do now. You can go through and solve. See if you can figure out what the answer is. We're going to do the same work we did before. 5x equals 2 times, let's see, 3x plus 3, right? Minus 17. I'm going to distribute. 5x equals 6x plus 6 minus 17. Okay, 5x equals 6x minus, I don't know, 9, 10, well, no, 11. My brain's backwards. Minus 6x. So I get negative x equals negative 11. I'm just going to divide by negative 1 to make x positive. So I get x is 11. Okay. So if the first number is 11, next number has got to be 12, the last number has got to be 13. And you can go back in and check. All right, we have one more kind of problem in this section. Oh, it doesn't want to scroll. There we go. Oh, I lied. We have 2 more, but they're not so painful. Promise. That was the hardest one we do in here. So a carpenter cuts a 6-foot board into 2 pieces. One piece is 3 times as long as the other. Find the length of each piece. So this is something that like cries out for a picture, right? So think about a board. It's 6 feet long, okay? It cuts into 2 pieces. So I'm going to draw a dotted line. I know one of the pieces is 3 times as long as the other. So like, I don't know the little one. I'm going to call that X. That's the short piece. And then the long piece is 3 times longer. So 3 times X. Well, I know that those 2 pieces together have to be 6 feet long, right? I take a 6-foot board, I cut it into 2 pieces, I put it back together, it's still 6 feet. As long as I didn't do anything really weird. So to solve the equation, I can do x plus 3x has got to equal 6. Not a big deal. 4x equals 6 divided by 4. X is 6 over 4, which is the same thing as 3 over 2. So in this case, each board, each piece, the first x is 3/2 of a foot. Really, in this case, I might think about it as 1.5 feet. And then 3x is 4.5. 4.5 plus 1.5 is 6. Okay, try the second one. You try the second one. A plumber cuts a 96-inch piece of pipe into 2 pieces. One is 5 times longer than the other. How long is each piece? You try it. All right, let's draw the picture. So it's 96 inches long. 2 pieces, so 1 cut. This one is X. This one is 5 times longer than X. That's all. So X plus 5X equals 96. 6X equals 96. Divide by 6. X is, I don't know, 12? 16. Goodness. Okay, so one piece is 16, the other is 5 times 16, which is 80. Got it. All right, here's the last kind. For recent Olympics, the United States won the greatest number of overall medals, followed by China. The United States won 16 more medals than China, and together they brought home a total of 192. How many did they win altogether? All right, so think about it. How do you start? We know some things. We know we're talking about the US, and we know we're talking about China, right? I know that US plus China, and this is like a verbal model, right? Equals 192. Okay, I know that that's the start. I know that the US won 16 more than China. So actually the US is China plus 16. Ah, okay, so China's got to be the X. And then the US is is X plus 16. Oh, there we are. So I have X plus 16 plus X is 192. Combine like terms, 2X plus 16 is 192. Subtract by 16. I get 2X equals 176. Divide by 2. X is 88. Yes, sometimes I just know that stuff off my head. All right, so that means that China won 88, and the US won 16 more than that, which is 104. 88 and 104 is 192. All right, you try this one. 40 students in an algebra class, 4 more men than women. How many men and women are there in class? And here's the thing, like you could probably guess and check your way to this answer. That is not the point. This is algebra class. You're supposed to be writing equations. I will tell you in the end that there are 18 men. You see if you can figure out the rest. If you have problems or you get stuck, come on and drop it in the discussion. Let's talk about it. You can figure this out. Do take the time to try it and try some of these again if you had trouble with them. It's okay to practice more, but do pick up your pencil and write, because practice with writing the problems out is always going to serve you better. All right, I will see you in the next section.